Hi, I'm Jen. Oh gosh, I hope I don't look too much like a rock lobster, but it's really hot in the car, even though it's not that hot a day. Anyway, hi, I'm Jen. In this week's video, I will take you car sketching with me, and we will draw and make marks and just relax. And we will use one lonely pencil because that's all I've got in the car with me. And then we go home and sit at the kitchen table and have a little chat about consistency versus perseverance and what I'm thinking about that. And there's also some good news to share with you about a picture book contract that has just come through for me. So, well, it hasn't just come through, but it's just got through at acquisition. So I'll explain to you that process if you're interested in the machinations of traditional publishing. So it's a fun little video this week, and I'm looking forward to sharing it with you. I'll see you in there. Bye. So generally I try to keep a sketchbook in the car, something handy, so that I don't have to think about it. I don't have to keep, running back home if I want to sketch something, or seeing something that I really want to draw and then I haven't got any materials with me. So I do keep a little notebook in my bag usually, but today I've only got this pencil case, which I really love this pencil case. And look what's in it. I'll see if I can do this with one hand. This is how to be not very organized 101. So what is in the pencil case? In the dark recesses, there is a bulldog clip, which is quite useless, and one pencil. But you know what? It's obviously a pencil I like because it's an 8B. It'll be nice and dark, and I think it's a graphite aquarella. I'm not very good with other languages, but look, it's got a bit of washi tape around it, so I do that all the time. If I have a really favorite pencil, I'll mark it from the rest with a piece of washi tape so I can find it really quickly. So that's the only pencil that is in that pencil case today. I don't know why. I don't know how that happened. And then I've got this old sketchbook that's nearly full. That's been coming out with me a lot. So I'm going to just sit here and make some marks and have my coffee and my Eccles cake and just draw with this one lonely pencil. But I've also got my water bottle, so I will dip the pencil in the water bottle to give me that bit of extra volume. So I've got some nice wet graphite to smooch around a little bit, so that will be fun. So that's all I'm drawing. I'm just looking at that shape of those old dead log branchy things popping up from that gully. So I'm just dipping my pencil in my water. Yes, I will not drink this water. Dipping it in there to get some variation and some tone. But I also had, and this will link into the video that I made last week where I talked about always having something prepped. So I had this double page spread in this sketchbook that had already had a whole lot of watercolor just sploshed all over it. I can't even remember when I did that. It would have been just some leftover paint or something that I was whooshing my brush around one day, and so that was much nicer to draw on than just a white page. So I just put a frame around that and then can draw that. Now I'll do more of these now. I'll switch off the camera, but it's just really lovely for yeah, it's just lovely for fun, making marks, seeing what comes out. It's funny how when we draw these sorts of things, we get little areas that we really respond to. Like I really like in here, this negative space. Yeah, it's fun. So I've run out of pencil. So I'll have to stop here. But this has just been such a great way to get back into drawing mode and, you know, loosen up and warm up. And yeah, I thought I had a pencil sharpener in the car. See, that's another thing that you should have in your car, is pencil sharpener, so that you can, oh, you can't see that, the sun's, but I like those leaves because the way the pencil was all scrudgy and missing and scrumbling. Yeah, a pencil sharpener is another really good thing to have in a car. I might have one under here. Anyway, I'm starting to talk to myself. Obviously, I'm a little bit distracted, but I hope you find this. Oh, look, there's a bird, a wattle bird, I think it is. Can you see that? Oh, there she is. There's usually a magpie that comes down and sees me every time, but it must be distracted this morning. I like to think it's the same magpie. I do think it is. They do bond with people. And my son had a magpie at uni that bonded with him, and he knew it was the same magpie because it was tagged, and it would come and sit with him there in the grounds of the uni and have morning tea with him. I was thinking about lots of things this week because this week has been a week where I felt like I haven't been doing anything that's particularly visual or interesting to film. So I went through this thing of I won't post this week, I won't put a video up. And then I remembered that I had made a commitment to upload every Friday, and it got me thinking about consistency. And I just realized that nothing of any value seems to come about unless there's some sort of level of consistency there. I used to talk about perseverance, but I feel like over the years, I feel like perseverance has an edge to it that feels really pushy and strenuous. It's like a striving, and I'm sure there's a time in all our lives when a bit of striving is necessary for sure, and a bit of perseverance. But to think of your life in those terms all the time, like I have to persevere, I have to soldier on, we have to endure, it just feels really harsh and hard, and it has a weight to it, that word and that energy. And so I've been reflecting more about consistency, because to be consistent feels like a beautiful flow. Even if you have like a nice consistency in your cake batter, you know, it feels good rather than something that's lumpy and horrible. But consistency is I think it's a more gentle approach, but it's still really powerful, because it's really important in any creative project to be consistent. And even if that consistency is a little bit up and down, behind that, you can have this sort of a consistency with holding your vision. Not necessarily your vision of how you think things should turn out, because that again starts to get very controlling and egoic, and the universe usually has a different plan. But if you can be consistent in your vision of how you see yourself as a creative, and how you want that to play out in your life, if there's a sort of a consistency to your vision, I think that can really form a great foundation for you going forward with what you're doing. And so that when things present themselves, such as this week for me, where the dominant thought was, I've got nothing to say, I won't make a video, I could recognize that. And I talked about this a little bit in a live that we did in the group, in our Facebook group. I can see that now, that sort of thought pattern, as an invitation into self-doubt, and as an invitation into giving up. And so that's not an invitation that I really want to accept, right? So if I can fall back on remembering that I had committed to some consistency, I committed to uploading every Friday, for instance, or you might have committed to drawing a picture once a week, or doing some color swatching every couple of days, or having a brainstorming session once a week for a picture book, perhaps. Any sort of little commitment that you make, if you underpin that with a commitment to consistency, I think that can really, really, really help. So it's just an idea that I've been playing with and that I've been seeing play out. So part of that consistency also was that I do understand, from, you know, being on the planet for 64 years, I do understand that I'm not the one spinning the planet, and that I can actually trust that a universal force that has created this planet and this life and this body and your body, it has a pretty good idea of the next step forward. And maybe it's okay for me to put my trust in that and not have to feel like I have to control everything. So even though cognitively I think I haven't got a video this week and I've got nothing to say, I can actually go, oh, well, you know, I can see that as an invitation into self-doubt. let me just put my trust in the universe and see what unfolds and see what happens. And so today I went to yoga and I came home and I just filmed a little bit in the car, and I'm really happy. I know the quality of the footage is not so great, and I apologize to those of you who find that sort of wonky camera work a bit disconcerting. I will remedy that. But I still feel like there was something in that footage that can help somebody and encourage somebody and give them insights into warming up as an artist, you know, working on your mark making, having that consistency in your practice, finding little gaps in your day where you can shoehorn in a little bit of art prac, all that sort of thing. So that to me was a good example of just trusting the universe and trusting that something would present itself, and I didn't have to get all worked up about it and disappointed in myself and hard on myself and stressed because I didn't have a video. Nor did I have to force the issue. I didn't have to sit down and brainstorm some, you know, ideas and then construct something and come to you like, you know, with something fully formed. I could let go of that as well. Because the other thing I think about consistency and about a channel like this is that it's about friendship. And when you're with a friend, you don't always expect your friend to be profound or have amazing insights into life or even to inspire you. You just expect your friend to be consistent in their care for you. Even if they don't always turn up when they say they will, if you know that there's a consistency to their commitment to the friendship, then you can forgive little faux pas and stuff like that. So, and you know, sometimes you get together with a friend and all you do is have a cup of tea and kind of look out the window, and it doesn't have to be overtly profound. And yet every interaction that we have with every other human being on some level is profound. It's like the Zen, everything's important and nothing's important. So I possibly I'm rambling here, but you know, this is the thing. I just kind of trusted in the universe, and I trusted that enough interesting things would happen in a period of time where I could film something that would be of value to somebody out there. And then when I got home just before, after doing my drawings and stuff and had my keto breakfast muffin, I got an email from my publisher at HarperCollins to say that a picture book that I had this morning that went to acquisitions got through. And it was an incredibly happy moment. Like we're thrilled that this book has got through. For those of you who don't know much about traditional publishing, when you submit something to a publisher, they, even if they really love it, they can't tick it off and say, yes, we accept it. They then have to pitch it. They have to take it to what's called acquisitions, which is a meeting of a whole lot of other team members, people from marketing and finance and whatnot, who have to then look at it and be convinced that it's viable, and then they will either purchase it or not. So that acquisitions is kind of like the biggest hoop in the process of getting published traditionally that you need to get through. So it's a toughie, and it's tough on everybody involved. And I think it's particularly tough on the publisher because they're sort of in the boots of the author or the illustrator. They are pitching to a team and hoping, you know, because they will not take a book to acquisitions that they don't think has a good shot at it, but lots of stuff does get knocked back at acquisitions, and it's really disappointing for everybody. So it's an exciting thing when a book gets through acquisitions. And so that was another thing that's happened today that I can share with you, and that you can take what you need from that. And I will talk more about this particular book as the process unfolds, because it's an interesting story in itself. Everything that went on behind the scenes with this particular picture book has been really, really interesting, but I need to give it more thought before I make a video about it. The book as far as I know, I haven't seen the contract yet, of course. It only happened this morning. But the book won't be coming out until late next year. So where are we now? It's October 2025. So I would say it'll be like maybe October 26 when it comes out. But we'll see. Who knows? But anyway, that was a really cool thing that happened, and I was really happy to be able to share that with you, and you know, just reflect on that as well, because when I look back at the seed of that idea for that book, which was at least, I reckon, 3 years ago that I had the seed of the idea, and then I consistently returned to it without forcing, though, without wanting to force the book onto anybody, or even in my mind not being anxious and uptight about it. There were definitely frustrations along the way, but there wasn't a desperate clinging to an outcome. There was just a consistent commitment to the idea. So the book is about a really, really silly horse. You know, it's a funny book. It's out there. It's a bit out there. It's a bit absurd. So I always had this vision of this horse that could do all these amazing things and was a terrible show off. So that's the essence of the idea, but it took a long time to get to a point where it got across the line. It was like a very complicated gymkhana. So anyway, so that's a really cool thing that happened. So that I wanted to share that with you today as well. And that's about all I've got to say, but I will be back again next Friday to talk to you again. Thank you so much to everyone who's subscribing and gently hitting that like button, because that really, really helps. And also leaving comments. I answer all the comments. I love seeing your comments, so please don't hold back in saying g'day, or asking me questions and stuff like that, because comments just really make my day. And yeah, I will head off now. I've been doing manuscript assessments this week. I had a beautiful day yesterday, spending lots of time with a garden slug who was just gorgeous. She was beautiful. And so we'll see what comes out today that I have to have a look at. And also I've been busy this week running my online community. We have about 120 people in there, and this beautiful little, it's a Kidlit celebration. It's an immersion in children's literature. So that's been going really, really well too. And that ends at the end of this month, October. So we'll see what happens after that. But yeah, it's just been a sort of, not a messy week, but there's been a lot to do. Yeah, and a lot to think about, and a little bit of juggling and stuff going on. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Let me know where you're at, and let me know if there's any videos that you want to make, or you have any questions. Just pop it in the comments, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now. See ya.